The other day, Oregon Public Broadcasting, which is among the most communist corners of our media industrial complex, ran a story how, quote, millions of seniors are struggling to afford houses and, quote, it's going to get a lot worse. This is odd, given we've been hearing all year how any bad news on the economy is right-wing disinformation. And for those who are not American, public broadcasting is literally a government-funded ministry of truth. So what's happening? The article is based on a new report from Harvard University, which is also communist and also a government-funded ministry of truth, how nearly one-third of senior households in America are, quote, cost burden. That means they pay more than a third of their income for housing. Half of those actually pay more than half of their income for housing, which does not leave much to eat. They note this has reached an all-time high of 11.2 million struggling seniors, up 1.5 million since pre-pandemic, and they project the number of struggling seniors will soar, perhaps doubling in the next 15 years. The home ownership rate of everybody over age 50 has actually been falling for a quarter century, as millions are now forced to rent. This accelerated after the 2008 crisis, which apparently knocked millions of 50 and 60-somethings out of the game for good. This matters because the median net worth of a senior household is about $500,000 if they own their house. If they're renting, it's just $10,000. Meanwhile, earnings for renters are just half what those are for owners. Indeed, many of those renters fell off altogether. Oregon Public quoted one homeless advocate saying, quote, when you talk about homelessness, 50 is the new 75. So what's driving all this? Harvard sums it up. Seniors' incomes are falling, their assets are melting away, all while prices soar for food, healthcare, and other essentials on top of housing. Meanwhile, household debt has soared among seniors, meaning millions have to sell the house just to pay the bills. Once you sell it, you're not getting it back. Meanwhile, thanks to rampant divorce or failing to ever marry, which have both become the new normal in America since the 1970s, the proportion of seniors living alone has gone from just over 1 in 10 in the 1950s to more than a quarter today. In fact, only half of seniors live with their spouse. The rest either live alone, they live with family, or they live in group homes. Of those seniors, only 1 in 7 can afford a daily visit from a home health aide. The rest hope for the best. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained. In a recent video, I talked about how the number of homeless seniors is soaring, and that's before the recession hits in full. Every modern recession throws hundreds of thousands of families out on the street and permanently gores millions more, condemning them to an impoverished retirement. It will not end until we end the boom-bust bailout cycle, and this one is just getting started. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.